I.
Used by a speaker to refer to himself or herself.
Accept me for what I am. Ice.
Water frozen in the solid state.
Americans like ice in their drinks. Ice cream.
Frozen dessert containing cream and sugar and flavoring.
I'll get you some ice cream. Idea.
The content of cognition.
It was not a good idea. Ideal.
Constituting or existing only in the form of an idea or mental image or conception.
A poem or essay may be typical of its period in idea or ideal content. Identify.
Recognize as being.
The driver was identified by 2 witnesses. Identify with.
To feel that you can understand and share the feelings of somebody else.
I didn't enjoy the book because I couldn't identify with any of the main characters. Identity.
The distinct personality of an individual regarded as a persisting entity.
You can lose your identity when you joined the army. I.e.
That is to say,
a walking boot that is synthetic, i.e., not leather or suede. If.
Used to say that one thing can, will or might happen or be true, depending on another thing happening or being true.
If necessary, I can come at once. Ignore.
Refuse to acknowledge.
He ignored the customers. Ill.
Affected by an impairment of normal physical or mental function.
Ill from the monotony of his suffering. Illegal.
Prohibited by law or by official or accepted rules.
An illegal chess move. Illegally.
In an illegal manner.
They dumped the waste illegally. Illness.
Impairment of normal physiological function affecting part or all of an organism.
He died after a long illness. Illustrate.
Supply with illustrations.
Illustrate a book with drawings. Image.
A visual representation produced on a surface.
He stared at his own image reflected in the water. Imaginary.
Not based on fact.
A small child's imaginary friends. Imagination.
The ability to form mental images of things or events.
He could still hear her in his imagination. Imagine.
Expect, believe, or suppose.
I imagine she earned a lot of money with her new novel. Immediate.
Performed with little or no delay.
An immediate reply to my letter. Immediately.
Without delay or hesitation.
He answered immediately. Immoral.
Not adhering to ethical or moral principles.
They considered colonialism immoral. Impact.
A forceful consequence.
The book had an important impact on my thinking. Impatient.
Restless or short-tempered under delay or opposition.
Impatient with the slower students. Implication.
Something that is inferred.
His resignation had political implications. Imply.
Express or state indirectly.
Are you implying he is mad? Import.
Bring in from abroad.
Japan's reluctance to import more cars. Importance.
The quality of being important and worthy of note.
The importance of a well-balanced diet. Important.
Of great significance or value.
Important people. Importantly.
In an important way.
For centuries jellies have figured importantly among English desserts, particularly upon festive occasion. Impose.
Compel to behave in a certain way.
Social relations impose courtesy. Impossible.
Something that cannot be done.
His assignment verged on the impossible. Impress.
Have an emotional or cognitive impact upon.
He has to put on an act to impress. Impressed.
Feeling admiration for somebody or something because you think they are particularly good, interesting, etc.
I must admit I am impressed. Impression.
An outward appearance.
He made a good impression. Impressive.
making a strong or vivid impression.
An impressive ceremony. Improve.
To make better.
The editor improved the manuscript with his changes. Improvement.
The act of improving something.
Their improvements increased the value of the property. In.
To or toward the inside of.
Smash in the door. Inability.
Lack of ability to do something.
The inability of the soldiers to understand an alien culture. Inch.
A unit of length equal to 1/12 of a foot.
18 inches of thread. Incident.
A public disturbance.
The police investigated an incident at the bus station. Include.
Have as a part. Be made up out of.
The list includes the names of many famous writers, including.
Containing as part of the whole being considered.
Weapons were recovered from the house, including a shotgun. Income.
The financial gain accruing over a given period of time.
He has a nice home and an adequate income. Increase.
Become bigger or greater in amount.
The amount of work increased. Increasingly.
Advancing in amount or intensity.
She became increasingly depressed. Indeed.
In truth.
It is very cold indeed. Independence.
Freedom from control or influence of another or others.
I've always valued my independence. Independent.
Free from external control and constraint.
An independent mind. Independently.
On your own.
The children worked on the project independently. Index.
Provide with an index.
Index the book. Indicate.
Be a signal for or a symptom of.
These symptoms indicate a serious illness. Indication.
Something that serves to indicate or suggest.
An indication of foul play. Indirect.
Not direct in spatial dimension.
Sometimes taking an indirect path saves time. Indirectly.
Not in a forthright manner.
He answered very indirectly. Individual.
Being or characteristic of a single thing or person.
Please mark the individual pages. Indoor.
Located, suited for, or taking place within a building.
Indoor activities for a rainy day. Indoors.
Within a building.
They went indoors and explored the building. Industrial.
Of or relating to or resulting from industry.
Industrial output. Industry.
The people or companies engaged in a particular kind of commercial enterprise.
Each industry has its own trade publications. Inevitable.
An unavoidable event.
Don't argue with the inevitable. Inevitably.
In such a manner as could not be otherwise.
War inevitably has casualties. Infect.
Communicate a disease to.
Your children have infected you with this head cold. Infected.
Containing harmful bacteria.
An infected water supply. Infection.
The pathological state resulting from the invasion of the body by pathogenic microorganisms.
A treatable skin infection. Infectious.
Of or relating to infection.
Infectious hospital. Influence.
A power to affect persons or events, especially power based on prestige, etc.
Used her parents' influence to get the job. Inform.
Impart knowledge of some fact, state or affairs, or event to.
I informed him of his rights. Informal.
Not formal.
An informal gathering of friends. Information.
Facts or details about somebody or something.
A source of information. Ingredient.
Food that is a component of a mixture in cooking.
Pork is an important ingredient in many stir-fry dishes. Initial.
Occurring at the beginning.
Took the initial step toward reconciliation. Initially.
At the beginning.
Initially, We thought it might be pilot error. Initiative.
Serving to set in motion.
The initiative phase in their negotiations. Injure.
Cause injuries or bodily harm to.
He injured his foot. Injured.
Harmed.
Injured soldiers. Injury.
Any physical damage to the body caused by violence or accident or fracture, etc.
Minor injuries. Ink.
Mark, coat, cover, or stain with ink.
He inked his finger. Inner.
Located or occurring within or closer to a center.
An inner room. Innocent.
Free from evil or guilt.
An innocent child. Insect.
Small air-breathing arthropod.
The place is crawling with insects. Insert.
Put or introduce into something.
Insert a picture into the text. Inside.
Relating to or being on the side closer to the center or within a defined space.
He reached into his inside jacket pocket. Insist.
Be emphatic or resolute and refuse to budge.
I must insist. Insist on.
To demand something and refuse to be persuaded to accept anything else.
We insisted on a refund of the full amount. Insist on doing.
To continue doing something even though other people think it is annoying.
She's 85 now, but she will insist on doing all her own housework. Install.
Set up for use.
Install the washer and dryer. Instance.
An occurrence of something.
Another instance occurred yesterday. Instead.
In place of, or as an alternative to.
Felix became a herpetologist instead. Instead of.
In the place of somebody or something.
Now I can walk to work instead of going by a car. Institute.
An association organized to promote art or science or education.
A research institute. Institution.
An organization founded and united for a specific purpose.
An academic institution. Instruction.
The activities of educating or instructing.
Our instruction was carefully programmed. Instrument.
A device that requires skill for proper use.
A surgical instrument. Insult.
A rude expression intended to offend or hurt.
They yelled insults at the visiting team. Insulting.
Expressing extreme contempt.
Their language is insulting to women. Insurance.
Promise of reimbursement in the case of loss.
Insurance for his new car. Intelligence.
The ability to comprehend.
A man of great intelligence. Intelligent.
Having the capacity for thought and reason, especially to a high degree.
An intelligent question. Intend.
Design or destine.
She was intended to become the director. Intended.
Resulting from one's intentions.
An intended insult. Intention.
An anticipated outcome that is intended or that guides your planned actions.
Good intentions are not enough. Interest.
A sense of concern with and curiosity about someone or something.
An interest in music. Interested.
Having or showing interest.
An interested audience. Interesting.
Arousing or holding the attention.
An interesting debate. Interior.
Situated within or suitable for inside a building.
An interior scene. Internal.
Happening or arising or located within some limits or especially surface.
Internal organs. International.
Concerning or belonging to all or at least two or more nations.
An international agreement. Internet.
A computer network consisting of a worldwide network of computer networks that use the TCP/IP network protocols to facilitate data transmission and exchange.
An internet connection. Interpret.
Assign a meaning to.
How do you interpret his behavior? Interpretation.
An explanation that results from interpreting something.
The report included his interpretation of the forensic evidence. Interrupt.
Make a break-in.
We interrupt the program for the following messages. Interruption.
Some abrupt occurrence that interrupts an ongoing activity.
The telephone is an annoying interruption. Interval.
A definite length of time marked off by 2 instants.
The intervals between meals were very short. Interview.
The questioning of a person.
My interviews with teenagers revealed a weakening of religious bonds. Into.
To a position in or inside something.
Come into the house. Introduce.
Cause to come to know personally.
Introduce the new neighbors to the community. Introduction.
Introducing something new.
Issues arising from the introduction of new technology. Invent.
Create or design.
He invented an improved form of the steam engine. Invention.
A creation resulting from study and experimentation.
The invention of the telescope. Invest.
Make an investment.
He invested in a soap company. Investigate.
Conduct an inquiry or investigation of.
The district attorney's office investigated reports of possible irregularities. Investigation.
An inquiry into unfamiliar or questionable activities.
He is under investigation for receiving illicit funds. Investment.
The act of investing.
We plan to buy some property as an investment. Invitation.
A request to participate or be present or take part in something.
An invitation to lunch. Invite.
A colloquial expression for invitation.
He didn't get no invite to the party. Involve.
Engage as a participant.
Don't involve me in your family affairs. Involved.
Connected by participation or association or use.
The involved muscles. Involvement.
A connection of inclusion or containment.
He escaped involvement in the accident. Iron.
Press and smooth with a heated iron.
She stood there ironing. Irritate.
Cause annoyance in.
It irritates me that she never closes the door after she leaves. Irritated.
Aroused to impatience or anger.
Made an irritated gesture. Irritating.
Causing irritation or annoyance.
An irritating delay. Island.
A landmass that is surrounded by water.
She lived on an island. Issue.
An important question that is in dispute and must be settled.
The issue could be settled by requiring public education for everyone. It.
Used to refer to a thing previously mentioned or easily identified.
A room with 2 beds in it. Item.
A distinct part that can be specified separately in a group of things that could be enumerated on a list.
She had several items on her shopping list. It's.
Belonging to or associated with a thing previously mentioned or easily identified.
Turn the camera on its side. Itself.
Used as the object of a verb or preposition to refer to a thing or animal previously mentioned as the subject of the clause.
His horse hurt itself.